Okay, is everybody good now? Am I where I should be? No? Thumbs up? Everybody's thumbs up. Jan is coming on and off. Jan, have you got it? Thumbs up? No, she hasn't. Hold on. Have you not got me on your main screen, Jan?
No.
If you
I have
got,
now. I've got you.
Now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll mute you. Okay, let's start. Okay, coming on to your mats. We have been having problems with Virgin Media, so I'm hoping the internet will not do funny things. But it has been all the last 3 days been on and off. So if I go off, I will come back again probably, but I don't know how long. We'll start with our feet just slightly wider than hip width. Have the palms facing out. Just rock your hips back so that you're over your heels. Crown the head towards the ceiling. Close your eyes for a minute. And let's settle ourselves onto our mat in mountain pose. Take a deep breath. Take a few deep breaths. Let's just wriggle our fingers. And then rotate the palms all the way to the ceiling. Interlace the fingers, push the palms away. Deep breath here. Come down to one side into side stretch. And we'll move to the other side. Coming back to center, up onto the balls of your feet and then lowering the heels. So just coming up and down, or up and down. A few more of those. Oh gosh, I'm wobbly today. And then we'll raise the arms and come back down again. So we're going to raise the arms and come back down. So we're going to start getting the heart rate up. And then we're going to bend the knees and come down, pushing up. Go slow if you start to feel lightheaded, just move in a slower pace than I am. Keep going. A few more. Getting warm now. Couple more. Last one. And extend again, pushing the palms away. Take a deep breath, arms out wide, take the feet out a little bit wider. And a rotate, you need to lift a heel so you don't twist your knee. Just getting that side waist moving. Keep turning, try to look all the way behind you. Go slow if it makes you feel dizzy, obs. Last couple. And then we'll come to the top of our mats. Ooh, let's step back on the right into a lunge. Let's just stay in our lunge and we're going to dip the knee down. So you can keep the arms here, this makes it challenging. Arms above makes it really quite challenging, or you can have your hands to your hips. You don't have to go to the mat. You can just come halfway down and back up again. Do a few more on this side. And then take the heel to the mat, arms at shoulder height, warrior one. Stay here for a moment. And then we'll lift the thumbs to the ceiling. Really extend through the back leg, lifting the arch. Oh, taking the arms at shoulder height. Back heel comes off the mat. Take the hands to the mat. We'll step into a fold. And just let the head hang. This is a little bit of a rest. Nod the head. Shake the head. We'll step back on the other foot now into lunge and lift ourselves up. Arms at shoulder height. Hands to the hip is an option, or arms ahead to make it difficult. And coming down to the mat. Dipping. I don't know why this leg always is the horrible one. Keep going. I should be getting you warm. Couple more. Last one. Take the heel to the mat, arms to shoulder height. Warrior one. Let's breathe. Really lift up on the back arch, taking the thumbs to the ceiling. Breathe. Arms to shoulder height. We're going to tuck the back toe, take the hands to the mat. Stepping back into a plank. Kneeling plank is the option. In fact, let's all start with a kneeling plank. It makes it a hell of a lot easier. Let's stay here on our kneeling plank. You should be feeling it through the belly. Breathe. I'm getting really warm now. Come back into extended child pose, and let's just rest for a moment. Keep breathing. Bring yourself forward into kneeling plank. Stay here for a moment and then push back into extended child pose. Come forward into kneeling plank, and then we'll come down into elbow plank. We'll stay here for a moment in elbow plank. Just challenges that belly a little bit more. And then we'll push up onto straight arm plank and then come down to forearm. So keep alternating. Coming down onto forearms and then pushing back up onto straight arms. Alternate the way that you go down and up so that you push up on your right side one time, and you push up on your left side another time. Do a few more and then push back into extended child pose and rest. We can place our wrists by our ankles now in traditional child pose and relax the shoulders. And then come up onto hands and knees. Let's just gently rock the hips from side to side. And then come static and into your traditional cat-cow arch in the back. And extend into cow. dipping the belly, then arching the back into cat, really pushing up, and then dip the belly, extend into cow, arching, cat, extend to cow. I do a few more of those. And then we tuck the back toes, sit back on the heels. Let me just remove a layer. It's getting hot. Okay, so tucking the back toes, you can give your feet a little bit of a rub. And then come back onto hands and knees. We're keeping the toes tucked now. You're taking the knees off the mat, just an inch off the mat, into a bear pose and placing the knees down again. Taking the knees off the mat and then knees back on the mat. So knees off the mat and knees back on the mat. Knees off the mat this time. Continue to take the hips to the ceiling. Stay on the toes, push through the palms in down face dog, and then we'll walk through the heels, placing a heel each on the mat, alternate the heels. Okay, coming back up onto your toes, you're going to hover down into your bear stance. So really lowering those knees slowly. You're not touching the mat. You're hovering to bear stance. Breathe. And then lifting back up, hips to the ceiling, pressing the heels to the mat, down face dog. We'll lift back up on the toes, hovering those knees back into bear stance. Breathe. Then lift back up into down face dog, hips to the ceiling. You can still alternate the feet if you like, pressing a heel to the mat. And then we're going to come down and hover last time in our bear stance. Breathe for a moment. Place the knees to the mat. Sit back into extended child pose. Place the wrists by the ankles in traditional child pose. And relax. Give your hands a bit of a scrunch. Rotate the wrists. And then come back up onto hands and knees. Okay. We're going to do some kind of, they're like mountain climbers, but we'll start on the easy way. Hands and knees onto the mat. And you're just taking the same knee to the elbow and then extending. So same knee and extending. Knee to elbow, extend. And then swap the other side, knee to elbow, extend. So alternate, extending leg, knee to elbow, extending leg. Opposite side, extend leg, knee to elbow, extend. To keep doing that, you can stay in the easy pose or you can come into a plank. And we're doing it in plank. Same knee to elbow and swapping knee to elbow, swapping. Doing a few more. Breathe. Keeping those bums down if you're in plank or on your hands and knees is the easy way. Doing a few more. And then we'll lift into down face dog as our rest. Breathe. Nice little rest there. Walking the hands to the feet now. Bending the knees, let the head hang. Wrists relaxing. then we'll slowly roll all the way up. Oh. Coming to the top of your mat. Let's step back into warrior two. Arms at shoulder height. Lifting the back arch of the foot, arms at shoulder height. But straighten the front leg into sun warrior. And then come back into warrior two. Straightening. Back into warrior two. So keep moving with this pose. Keep warming that front leg. Few more. And then we're going to swap to the other side. So turn the foot in, turn the other foot out. Warrior two. Straighten the front leg into sun warrior. Back to warrior two. Sun warrior, warrior two. Now keep going. No one's tempted to bring their husband in yet and make them do this. Keep going on that side, last couple. And then we'll turn both toes in, hinging from the hips into a flat back. You're hooking your hands to your thighs. So keeping through your flat back, you want to push back through your heels, lifting up through the belly. Breathe, strong on the belly, taking the arms out wide. Keep breathing. Taking the hands behind you now, holding onto the elbows. Try to extend through the crown of the head. Taking the arms back out wide. Breathe. Really strong on the hamstrings. Taking the right hand to the mat and rotating towards the ceiling. We'll breathe here. And then you're coming down towards the left knee, bringing nose towards knee. Just wrapping your arms around your leg, having the other hand to support. Coming back to a wide leg, flat back. Let's turn to rotate the other side now. Looking towards the ceiling. Breathe. And then coming down, nose towards knee. Coming back onto a flat back with a heel toe in and come down to a squat, low squat or high squat. Oh. Hot work. Elbows to the inside the knees, crown of the head extending. Really try to extend the spine in this pose. Remember, if you're at home, you can always use a small stool to sit on if you want to make this pose slightly easier, and that helps you really focus on extending through the crown of the head. You're going to push up slowly through the hips, so make sure you lift the hips first, push through the outside edge of the feet and rise. Taking ourselves over into star pose. Breathe, bring yourself back down and sinking into your squat. Remember, high squat is the option. Breathe. We're slowly rising, lifting through the hips, coming up into star pose. Lifting that leg as high as you can, coming back again into your squat. How many have we done? 1, 2, then let's do two more. Slowly rising, coming up into your star pose. Lift that leg a little bit higher, maybe flexing the foot. Breathe, come back down into squat. Last one, we're going to lift up into a star, taking that leg up. Whoa, I'm very wobbly there. into your star pose. And then taking the feet together and extending the arms, push the palms away. And breathe. Let's squeeze thighs together, sitting back into a chair pose, pulling the belly in. I turn to the side, you can see. Try to keep the chest up high as you can. Breathe. Taking that arm across the knees and into rotated chair. Breathe. Back into chair pose, pulling through the belly. Breathe. And take the arm across the other side and rotate opposite direction. Back into chair pose, just sit that little bit lower. Breathe. Come down into a fold. Now straighten the legs if you can, don't worry if they're still bent. Hands to the mat, let the head hang. Coming back onto hands and knees. And then into your cat-cow. Let's slow it down just a bit. Inhale to cow, exhale to cat. I have the elbows to the mat now. Palms together. Try not to sink through the hips so you're not flexing the spine. You want to bring the chest slightly up and pushing into your elbows. You're on your knees in a puppy dolphin. Dolphin puppy, I should say. Spine is long, head is away, so crown is coming away from the neck. You're going to tuck the toes. And if you can, lifting into a dolphin pose. So resting on your elbows, palms are together. Taking the heels towards the mat. Breathe. This is a really strong one through the belly. Come back down onto the knees, back into your dolphin puppy. Keep through the belly, so keep holding through the belly. Breathe. We'll do that again. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips towards the ceiling into dolphin puppy. We're in dolphin pose, heels towards the mat. It's kind of like down face dog, but on your elbows, coming back onto your knees. Last one, you're going to come back, taking the knees off the mat, lifting into your dolphin pose. Breathe, really strong through the belly. And then back down onto the knees. We're going to take ourselves and extend the body, keeping the elbows to the mat into Sphinx pose. So move slowly into your Sphinx pose. We'll just rest ourselves here. Have a little breather in Sphinx pose. Hope you're all still with me. Sweating slightly today. Or should we just say glowing and glowing. Taking the arms out in front of you, forehead to the mat. We're going to lift up on the chest off the thighs, chest off the thighs, chest off the floor, thighs off the floor, locust pose. Take your arms and legs out wide, back into locust pose. Arms and legs out wide, back into locust. Arms and legs out wide, back into locust, and then rest down in crocodile, taking the feet wide, heels towards the mat, You're stacking the hands and turning to one side. Let's have a little breather in crocodile. Taking the hands right out in front of you, stacking ankles, knees, hips in line, lifting back up into your locust pose. This time we're taking the arms behind us, lifting our chest off the floor just a little bit higher. Breathe here. Breathe, breathe. Taking the arms back out the front. Keep breathing and then rest again in crocodile. Feet come wide, heels come in, turning to face the other side. Ooh. We're taking the hands back out in front again, forehead to the mat, ankles, toes, knees in line, lifting up into your locust pose. Taking the hands behind you again, so you can lift a little bit higher, breathing. Keep breathing. This is a strong pose on the back. Breathe and then come down to the mat. Let yourself just rest. Turning the head one way. We'll just turn the head to face the other direction. Put your hands by your rib cage, and the option is to come into Sphinx pose on your elbows. Otherwise, hands by your rib cage, elbows in, engage, and continue to push up into up face dog. Thighs come off the mat. Taking the knees to the mat, we extend into child pose and rest here. Coming up now onto hands and knees, and do a few cat-cows just to loosen up that back. Coming onto your sides now, so we're facing this long side of the mat on your knees. Lining up the thumb with the top of the knees and taking yourself out into a kneeling side plank. So the line from your thumb to the top of your knees, and you'll be extending the top arm. If you don't like extending your arm, you can have your hand to your hip. So the option is to stay in kneeling side plank. Otherwise, taking the other foot off the mat into side plank. So you're going to roll onto a full plank or a kneeling plank. So we're alternating each side now. We're going from kneeling side plank to kneeling plank to kneeling side plank, or full side plank, full plank, and then rotating the other way to side plank. Remember, kneeling side plank is your alternate coming take the other side into kneeling side plank. Coming back onto your kneeling plank or plank. And then nearly and to the other side. We'll do one last time. Coming onto your plank or kneeling plank. And then to the other side. Bringing ourselves back into a plank, coming onto your knees and into extended child pose. Wrists by your ankles. Let yourself rest for a moment. Breathe. We'll come back up onto hands and knees. Bring the left leg through your hands and lifting up into crescent moon. We'll take our arm across the knee and rotate to the back. This back arm is going to wrap. We're just looking and holding this pose for a moment. Extend the arm behind you. Coming back down onto hands to the mat. And then swapping to the other side. Foot comes between the hands. Lifting up into crescent moon. Arm comes across the knee, rotating to the back. Back arm will wrap. Take the arm behind you, hands back down to the floor. Come back onto hands and knees and into cat-cow. So you can do the same again on your knees, crescent moon. Otherwise, you can come with me, taking the foot through the feet. We're tucking the back toe, lifting all the way up into high lunge. Arm comes across the knee or rotating to the back. So remember, the option is to have that back knee to the mat, taking the arm behind you. Breathe. Back arm comes out. We'll lift back up into a high lunge. Hands come to the mat, step back into the other side. Lifting up into high lunge. Remember, back knee can be to the mat. Taking the arm across the thigh, rotating to the back. Hand comes to wrap. Breathe. Let's come back into high lunge. And take the hands to the mat. We're going to do two more. Swap to the other side, coming up into high lunge. Wrapping across and rotating to the back. Back arm's going to wrap. Breathe. Remember, you can have your back knee to the mat if you need. Taking the arm back, lifting up into your high lunge. And we'll swap to the other side. Lifting into high lunge. Taking the arm across the thigh, rotating to the back. Back arm's going to wrap. Breathe. We're coming back into our high lunge, wobbly the over. Whoa. Coming down to the mat. Let's step into a fold. Extend the legs if you can into forward fold. And rest. Just have a little breather. And then we'll come down onto our mat and sit in cross-legged position. Coming into a side stretch. Let's just slow it down now. Side stretch. Take some nice deep breaths here. Exhale real slow. Inhale. Exhale slowly. We'll come to the other side. Side stretch. Inhale. And then exhale real slow. Inhale, exhale slow. Hands back to the mat. Soles of the feet together. If you can, you slide yourself a little bit nearer your heels, taking your hands just above your ankles, elbows to the knees, are hinging from the hips forward and rounding the back. Tuck the chin into bound cobbler. We're lifting the knees up and sitting back into a boat pose. I am really cheating here as I'm leaning on the back of the sofa. That's a bit of cheat, isn't it? Taking yourself into boat pose, really sitting up and out of the hips, taking the soles of the feet together, bringing those feet to the mat. Hands come just above the ankles, elbows to the knees and forward into your bound cobbler. Hinge from the hips, round the back, tuck the chin. Breathe. Let's bring those knees together and sit back into our boat pose. Remember, you can have your feet touching the floor if you need. If you want to make it more challenging, take the fingers through the toes into extended boat pose. Oh, I'm going to walk forward. Let's take the soles of the feet together, place them on the mat. Hands just above the ankles, elbows to the knees, hinge from the hips again into your bound cobbler. Breathe. Bring those knees, one last boat pose. When you have your hands extended, you can place your fingers through your toes into extended boat if you wish. Try to pull with the toes and push with pull with the fingers, and push with the toes. And you want to pull up through your belly, pulling your belly in. So we're sucking our belly in. You can still breathe. Hold that belly in. Hold that pose. And then we'll roll down onto our mat, hug the knees and gently rock from side to side. Soles of the feet come to the mat. And let's gently rock our knees from side to side. Arms are beside you. Have your knees hip width apart. Pull yourself to the center of the mat. Soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to lift up into a half bridge. And then come down again butt to the mat. So lift up again into your half bridge. And come down again. Last one, come up into half bridge. We'll stay here for a little bit longer. Make sure you're squeezing the butt, lift up just that bit higher, and then come down to the mat. We'll extend one leg and hug a knee to our chest. And we'll swap to the other side, hugging a knee to your chest. Take the soles of the feet to the mat, lift back up into your half bridge. And you're going to take your feet a little bit wider, so take them as wide as the mat. Just walk them out and lift into a wide half bridge. Your heels, your feet are on the edges of your yoga mat. You're lifting up high. And then we're going to come slowly down to the mat. Keeping your feet wide, lifting up again into a wide half bridge. And then come down to the mat. Last one, lifting up into wide half bridge. And then slowly come down to the mat. Gently rock those knees from side to side to side. Or extend one leg and hug a knee again into our chest. Just stay here for a while. What are we on? Okay. That knee's going to come out to the side. And you're going to lift the foot towards the ceiling, holding on the underside of the foot if you can reach in half a happy baby. Otherwise, you're just holding around the back of your thigh. Really extend with the other leg. So you want to push away with the opposite leg, pushing away through the heel. Breathe. And then we'll come to the other side. Knee is coming to the chest. We're taking the knee just a little bit wider out towards the armpit. Sole of the foot's coming to the ceiling. You're holding underneath the thigh or underneath that foot into half a happy baby. Really extend with the other leg. So the leg that is straight, push out through the heel. Breathe. And then we're bringing the other leg towards the ceiling and coming into full happy baby, holding underside of the thighs or underside of the feet, and gently rock from side to side. Both the soles of the feet to the mat. Let the knees fall out into reclined cobbler. Knees are falling out, palms are facing up. Just resting here. Arms come out to the side. We're bringing the knees together, stacking the knees now over the hips, and then rotate the knees towards the floor. Let the knees rest, the ankles rest in your rotation. We'll look over the opposite shoulder if your neck allows. Allow your breath to start to settle. Lift the knees up and over to the other side. Let the knees rest, the ankles rest. Looking over the opposite shoulder if your neck allows. Keep breathing, slowing down that breath now. And bring the knees back to the center. We're just going to hug the knees and then take a hand to each kneecap and gently circle the knees one way. So massaging that lower back. And then circle the knees the other way around. Oh, and then you can come and put something warm on, maybe get a cushion for your head, a blanket. Just put my top back on. I'm going to turn the lights down here. You might want to do the same where you are. As we come into our relaxation. A well-earned relaxation at that, because that was fast-paced and sweaty. So if you want to lie down, get yourself as comfortable as possible. Keep yourself warm because you'll cool quickly. Let's settle ourselves on the mat. Let's all wriggle a little bit, wriggling our shoulders, sort of wiggling our hips. Just settling your body on the mat, maybe turning your head gently from side to side. Okay, so we're going to use a technique to get us to relax today, where we squeeze and tense the whole of the body. So you're squeezing your fists, making fists with your hands, scrunching up your feet, hopefully not going into cramp, and squeezing your butt, really tense every muscle, even your face. Screw your face up. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, relax your hands, relax your body, relax your face, settle onto the mat. So we're going to do that again, squeezing the fists, making the feet scrunch up, tensing through the shoulders, squeezing the butt, screwing the face up. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale slowly. And tensing all the body, breathing out, relaxing down onto the mat. We'll do that one last time, squeezing the fists into balls, scrunching the feet up, tensing the butt, squeezing the shoulders up, screwing up your face. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale slowly, unclenching the fists, letting the shoulders relax, buttocks release, every bit of your body starting to relax down onto the mat. And just return to a natural rhythm of breath. So I want you to start to notice your breath. You've been quite energetic. Notice how it starts to settle down. Notice everything about your body. The floor that you can feel beneath you. So remember, meditation doesn't need to be completely still. It's just about noticing and spending some time with ourselves, some quality time with ourselves. So while you're lying there, I don't want you to think about getting your body completely still. I want you to take this time about drawing yourself in and being with yourself. So it's noticing your breath, noticing if perhaps you want to move and why you want to move. Perhaps you need to move. Perhaps it feels good to stretch out. Perhaps it feels good just to wiggle fingers, gently turning your head. Noticing how, if you move, what that feels like to the body and enjoying that feeling. Noticing the breath. Perhaps you need to breathe in deeply and exhale slowly. And then if you're at a point where you can, sit still, lie still, softly closing your eyes, noticing the sounds around you. Gently breathing in and out, noticing that breath as it enters and exits. Thinking about that time you're spending with yourself, getting to know how you are, what you feel like. Noticing thoughts perhaps as they enter your head. Perhaps you can let them drift past and let go of any thoughts. Perhaps you have one thought that you need to think about, that you want to think about. Remember, it's about need and want. And if it doesn't, and I hate this word, serve you, but if it doesn't feel right to hold on to that thought, you let it go. If it does feel okay to dwell on something, then yes, please meditate on that. Just let that thought sit with you. Play around with it in your mind. Not a heavy play around, not a weighted thought. We're just playful with our thoughts, letting them go if we need, dwelling on them and just allowing them to mull over if that's what feels right, and letting go of anything that doesn't feel good to you. I'm now thinking again about breathing slowly. Perhaps focusing on the third eye point, the point just between your eyebrows. This is the third eye chakra. So we're thinking about that point in between our eyebrows, that bit that creases up if you frown. Think about smoothing that area out. Think about the weight being lifted as you relax your eyebrows, as you open up this point of your head. And you allow this part of your head to feel free of any concern. Remember, this is the third eye chakra, is about opening yourself up to other thoughts, opening you up to other ways of connecting with yourself. and connecting with the outside world, being open to anybody else's thoughts and wishes. We don't have to act on them. We can just be open-minded without reacting. Allowing yourself just to sit for a moment, lie for a moment, smoothing out through the brows, breathing. And then I want you just to place the heel of your hand onto that point in between your eyebrows. And it's a light pressure with your heel of your hand in between your eyebrows, and you're just smoothing that skin up towards the top of your forehead, slowly pushing up. And then bringing your eyes open, your attention back into the room. And then slowly coming up to seated, perhaps stretching or moving if you need. Sit in our comfortable cross-legged position, hands to knees, fingers in Jnana Mudra if you wish. Closing the eyes, taking a breath down to the base of the spine. Exhale to the skull. Or inhale down to the base of the spine. Exhale to the skull. Rotate the palms to heart center. Namaste. Thank you very much. I hope you were able to join in with most of that, or at least a majority of it. Let me know any feedback, because it's always welcome. And I will see you on Tuesday. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. That was great.
I can take you off. Thank you. Let's unmute you. Stop that. Oh, it has unmuted you all. Unmute you all. Yes, it's unmuted you all now.
Thank you very much.
Good. I'm glad you all enjoyed.
That was excellent. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes,
Very
thank
good.
you, Ruth.
You're welcome.